AITA for publicly proclaiming I worship Satan despite a real estate agent. Throwaway because I use my main for work and I'm on mobile, etc. Backstory. I, 38F, own a house in a nice neighborhood. On the outside it's a normal cute suburban home. I live in this house alone, and have for over 10 years. I never have parties or late-night visitors. I'm friendly with everyone on the street. I even watch their cats and water their plants while they're gone. But admittedly it took a while to build this relationship with them. I'm a tattoo artist and my body is literally covered in tattoos, save for my face. Some of the neighborhood kids think I'm a witch and no one corrects them because they think I'm a good fun witch, and it's cute. So the story. The family immediately next to me moved out of town for the husband's work and their house is now for sale. It's been for sale for over a month and there is a constant stream of people in and out. Our driveways are next to each other, so I can't leave the house to go anywhere without passing by someone viewing the house or walking through a crowd of people for an open house. It's still in the 90s here, so I haven't exactly been dressed conservatively, which means lots of visible tattoos. Over the weekend I was coming home and the realtor stopped me in my driveway. She asked me if I could try to stay inside when potential buyers were outside because I was scaring them off. Apparently some of them had made comments about not wanting to live next to me. I laughed and told her unless she was going to pay me to miss work and run my errands for me, I'd be continuing to live my life. She huffed about me making her job hard and left. I was pretty mad, so I posted about it on Facebook. A friend of mine who prints commented on the post and said he'd make me a lawn sign that says something like, "In this house we worship Satan," to piss off the realtor. It got a lot of comments backing the idea and I said absolutely. Make it and I'll put it up. Today one of the neighborhood moms texted me about my Facebook post and said she's on my side with the realtor but asked me not to put up the sign because she doesn't want to explain what it means to her kids, and that she thinks it'll offend the older people in the neighborhood. I was 100% for the sign idea, but now I feel like I'll be ruining the goodwill I've built with my neighbors if I put it up. So Reddit. Am I the asshole for putting a Satan-worshipping sign in my yard to piss off my neighbor's realtor? Update. Y'all are definitely right that it isn't worth risking my neighborhood relations to spite the agent. But the woman whose house is for sale just called me to apologize. She said someone sent her my Facebook post. She doesn't use Facebook. I suspect it was the mom who texted me, but she didn't say and I didn't pressure her. She called the real estate company and told them she wants that agent off the sale and they're going to replace her with another agent. She said she told them this is a tight-knit community and she wouldn't want to sell her house to anyone who wasn't going to be respectful of her former neighbors, and that if they can't find an agent who can accomplish that, she'll find another company. So crisis averted. Karma is good today. I'll still probably put the sign on my private back patio though, cause it's hilarious. It would be hilarious and I think it's a great idea. But given your neighbor's polite request, I think I'd skip it. The realtor sucks out loud for sure, but your neighbor sounds like a nice person, and she's asked you for a small favor. You're not an asshole. You sound like a pretty good neighbor actually. If you have your former neighbor's contact info, you might consider letting them know that the realtor is not skilled enough to sell a house next to you. The sign, while funny, would be a YTA. You already said why, so I don't need to explain it to you. YWBTA if you put the sign up. The realtor was completely out of line with what she said to you. But the sign would just be making public drama your neighbors shouldn't have to deal with. And you would definitely lose some goodwill with at least some of them. I would be annoyed, and not even because of Satan. I'd be just as annoyed if a neighbor put up a sign saying, "In this house we worship Jesus Christ." I wouldn't complain or care that much. But I'd roll my eyes and wonder why people feel the need to make public declarations like that. NTA, but don't do it. Your neighbor is right. Anyone who doesn't understand the situation or the Facebook post won't know why you have planted the sign on your lawn. It will seem very aggressive and unfriendly, which sounds completely opposite of who you are. ENTA, but it is true that you could be jeopardizing some good neighborly relationships, which I understand you've worked for and are trying to maintain, for the sake of a silly joke. The sign is a pretty funny idea, but sadly sometimes you just have to pick your battles. Don't bother with the sign. The realtor is incompetent. Continue to be your normal self and let the chaff separate itself. NTA, for refusing to hide yourself and thinking the realtor is an asshole. And if the people who viewed the house were turned off solely because of you, well, thank heavens they won't be signing, because that would be nothing but constant grief. The sign is funny in that you mean it to non-verbally tell a judgy outsider to get lost, but I agree with the others in that it will only add fuel to a trash fire brought on by the realtor, and potentially cause issues with your other neighbors. I'd mess with her with kindness. Get some store-bought cookies or something, and if people come up to the house, walk out in a tank top with a huge smile and offer up treats as a part of welcome to the neighborhood type deal. If you see the realtor walking people in, make it a point to go over. Introduce yourself. Talk about the great things about the neighborhood, etc. She wants you to be perceived as this antisocial weirdo when you're clearly not. So play up the kindness. You're NTA for putting up the sign to piss off the realtor. It's really shitty of them to ask you to stay inside when they're showing your neighbor's house. But if you value your good relationship with your neighbors, it could be a nice move to take it down for the friendly mom sake. Instead, do you have a window facing the for sale house? Somewhere the realtor would notice a sign without worrying about the neighbors you have a good relationship with. NTA. The realtor is tough, along with the people complaining. But it's probably not worth alienating your neighbors over. If you want to keep the peace while still having a bit of fun, change the sign wording to something milder. Like, "Don't worry, I'm a good witch," and stick a witch's hat right on top of the sign. NTA, you wouldn't be an asshole, but it's not a good look. I say don't do it. Fuck the realtor. You don't beat these people by going to their level. You just ignore them and live your life well. You sound like a great neighbor. I hope I get a neighbor like you. NTA, if you take it down now, it is pretty funny. YTA, if you keep it up, knowing it offends the people you want to get along with. NTA, that's hilarious. Maybe make your reason for doing this clear to the neighbors you are friends with. NTA, but that would be bad for you too. NTA, oh no, someone may actually have to do research to properly explain Satanism to their children. Oh, the horror. I hate people and purposely go out of my way to not have a relationship with my neighbors. Also, Halloween is coming up. It's a Halloween decoration. If you went through with the sign, then your neighbor expressed that she doesn't want to explain to her child about what the sign would mean. It is satirical and funny for adults, but I doubt a child would actually understand even with context. But that realtor is an asshole for talking to you that way, especially when she has no business with you. If she can't sell or pitch the house, that's just her competence showing through. It would certainly be hilarious, but YWBTA to people from the neighborhood that will not get the joke and will find it offensive. And also to yourself, because you have built such a good relationship with your neighbors. If you want to have fun, go out holding a broom and wearing a witch hat whenever you see the realtor. You know you found the right place when your exiting neighbors care about who replaces them. We found that where we are. It's great. One of my neighbors moved out of the house he'd lived in for over 30 years and said no to some prospective buyers on our behalf. We learned about it later and we're grateful. NTA. And it all worked out for the best. I'd have told the person selling the house too. And then the agency the realtor worked for. Glad she did the right thing. And the realtor won't be seeing a commission. And no, you would never be tough for putting up a Satan sign. If everyone else can put up crosses and nativity scenes on their lawn, all other religions have the same right, including Satanism. YTA. Now I am all for this. I love some nice petty shit to piss off someone. I've got a sleeve and other visible tats and I've had to deal with some crappy shit, but your neighbor is right. No one wants to have to explain to their 8-year-old what Satan worshipping is. I would, however, sit on the front lawn drinking and showing off the ink. Still petty, but less 8-year-olds throwing horns and worshipping Satan. Because in the end the only person you're really hurting is you, neighbor who is trying to sell the house. It seems like they were nice to you, so do you really want to hurt them just so you can cause some grief to someone who you will probably never see again after the house sells?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.